Welcome back to Mindcast with Dee, everyone. I'm Dee, and today we're diving into a fascinating psychological trap called the halo effect. Imagine this. One tiny good thing about a person makes you believe everything about them is good. Sounds harmless, right? But what if that tiny glow is quietly shaping your decisions, relationships, and even your career choices? Today, we're pulling back the curtain on how this works and how it might be influencing you without you even noticing.
Hi, I'm Will, and I'm really excited to see what behind-the-scenes insights we'll uncover today. This already sounds a bit scary, not gonna lie. Are you saying I might be judging people completely wrong just because of one good trait? Because I feel like I've definitely done that. Like if someone is confident, I just assume they're smart too. Is that the kind of thing we're talking about?
Exactly, Will. That's a perfect example. The halo effect is what psychologists call a cognitive bias, which simply means your brain takes shortcuts when making decisions. Instead of carefully evaluating everything, it uses one strong impression to fill in the gaps. So if someone looks attractive or speaks confidently, your brain goes, they must also be kind, intelligent, and capable. It's fast and automatic, but not always accurate. And the tricky part is, you don't even realize you're doing it.
That's wild because it feels so natural. Like I don't sit there thinking, okay, this person is good looking, so they must be trustworthy. It just happens. So is this something everyone does, or is it like a personality thing? Because now I'm wondering how often I've been fooled by this.
It's something everyone does. It's part of how our brains are wired. And it connects closely to another concept called confirmation bias. That's when you start looking for evidence that supports your first impression. So if you think someone is amazing, you'll notice all the things that prove it, and ignore the things that don't. It's like your brain is building a story and only collecting proof that fits. This is why first impressions can be so powerful and hard to change.
Okay, that hits hard. I've definitely done that in relationships. Like early on, you think someone is perfect, and then even when red flags show up, you kind of brush them off. Is that the halo effect too, or something different?
That's absolutely the halo effect at work, mixed with something called emotional reasoning. Emotional reasoning is when you believe something is true because it feels true. So if someone makes you feel good, your brain goes, they must be a good person. But feelings aren't always reliable evidence. It's like trusting a movie trailer to tell you the whole story. It gives you a vibe, not the full picture.
Wow, that explains so much. I feel like social media makes this even worse. You see someone with a polished profile, great photos, confident captions, and suddenly they seem like they have their whole life together. But we don't actually know them at all.
Exactly. And that's where the halo effect thrives the most today. Social media amplifies it because we're constantly exposed to curated versions of people. One strong trait, like beauty, success, or charisma, creates this glowing halo that spills over into everything else. And we rarely question it. It's like judging a book by its cover, but the cover is professionally designed to impress you.
That makes me think about job interviews too. Like if someone walks in confident and well-dressed, you instantly think they're competent. But that doesn't necessarily mean they're actually good at the job, right?
Exactly right. And this ties into another term, attribution error. That's when we assume someone's traits reflect who they are as a person, rather than considering the situation. So if someone presents themselves well, we assume they're capable overall, instead of thinking, maybe they just prepared really well for this moment. The halo effect and attribution error often team up to create misleading judgments.
This is honestly making me question a lot of my decisions. Like friendships, hiring people, even who I follow online. So how do we actually avoid falling into this trap? Because it feels almost automatic.
Great question. And this is where we get practical. Let's go through 5 simple tips to manage the halo effect in your daily life. First, slow down your judgments. Give yourself time before forming a full opinion about someone. Second, separate traits. Just because someone is good at one thing doesn't mean they're good at everything. Third, Actively look for disconfirming evidence. Ask yourself, what might I be missing? Fourth, get multiple perspectives. Talk to others before making big decisions. And fifth, reflect on your emotions. Ask, am I thinking this because it's true or because it feels good?
I like that last one a lot because it's so easy to confuse feelings with facts. And honestly, the idea of looking for disconfirming evidence feels uncomfortable, but probably necessary. It's like you're challenging your own brain. Do people usually resist doing that?
They do, because it feels unnatural. Our brains prefer consistency and simplicity, not contradiction. But that discomfort is actually a sign you're thinking more clearly. And here's something interesting. This topic is trending a lot right now because people are starting to question influencer culture. There's a growing awareness that just because someone looks successful online doesn't mean their advice is reliable. That's the halo effect being challenged in real time.
That's so true. I've seen people blindly trust influencers just because they seem confident or successful. And then later, it turns out they weren't actually qualified to give advice in the first place. It's kind of scary how easily we can be influenced.
It really is. And that's why awareness is so powerful. Once you recognize the halo effect, you start catching it in action. You begin to pause and question your assumptions instead of just going along with them. It doesn't mean you become cynical. It just means you become more thoughtful.
I feel like this is one of those things that once you see it, you can't unsee it. Like I'm already thinking about people I've judged too quickly, both positively and negatively. Does the halo effect work both ways?
Great point. And yes, it does. There's actually a reverse version called the horn effect, where one negative trait makes you assume everything about a person is bad. So it's not just about overestimating people, it's also about unfairly underestimating them. Both can lead to missed opportunities and unfair judgments.
That's kind of humbling, honestly. It means we might be wrong in both directions. Putting some people on a pedestal and dismissing others too quickly makes you want to be a bit more careful.
Exactly. And that brings us to a question for everyone listening. When was the last time you realized your first impression of someone was completely wrong? Think about it. And drop your story in the comments. These moments are powerful because they show how much our perception can shift with more information.
I'd actually love to hear those stories too. I feel like everyone has at least one moment where they were totally off about someone. It's kind of reassuring to know we're all figuring this out together.
Let's quickly recap what we covered today. The halo effect is a cognitive bias where one positive trait shapes your entire perception of a person. It works closely with confirmation bias, emotional reasoning, and attribution error to reinforce those impressions. While it's natural, it can lead to inaccurate judgments in relationships, work, and everyday life. But with awareness and a few practical strategies, you can make more balanced decisions.
This was honestly eye-opening. I feel like I'm going to be way more aware of my snap judgments now. Not perfect, obviously, but at least I'll catch myself sometimes. And that already feels like progress.
That's exactly the goal. Not perfection, just awareness and improvement. The more you question your assumptions, the clearer your thinking becomes. And over time, you start seeing people and situations for what they really are, not just what they seem to be at first glance. Thanks for spending this time with us. Catch you in the next one.